The darkness filled with surprised screams and some laughter. Was it a blackout? How odd. There were no storms to cause a power cut. Someone brushed past me in the pitch black, making me jump. For a moment, I thought I could smell jasmine. Something sweet, anyway. "Hold tight, everyone," the auctioneer's voice cut across the chatter in the room. "I'm sure we'll have the lights back on momentarily. If you could all just stay seated until then, so we don't have anyone tripping over in the dark, that would be great." I hadn't appreciated until this moment how very dark it could be in a room without windows. The Metropole's ballroom did have a bank of glass doors that led out onto a rooftop terrace, but they were way down the other end of the room and only seemed to emphasise how very dark it was at this end. In the absence of light, the noises in the room seemed very loud, and I flinched as someone knocked over a glass somewhere close behind me. A faint light bloomed, and I turned towards it. Priya had turned on the torch feature on her mobile phone. A moment later, people everywhere were doing the same, and you could feel the whole room relax. Nervous laughter and speculation about the blackout rippled around the ballroom. Several men left to investigate. The lights came back on, leaving everyone blinking at each other in the sudden glare. There were a few cheers, followed by a sudden scream. "It's gone!" Geraldine shrieked. "The necklace is gone!" She was still on the stage with Stellan and Jeff, one hand pressed to her chest in shock. The stand between them, where the necklace had been displayed, was empty. I spun around and snapped 3 quick photos, trying to cover the whole room, with the vague idea that a record of where everyone was at that moment might prove useful. A lady at Geraldine's table was dabbing ineffectually at her dress. Someone had knocked over a glass of red wine, which must have been almost full, judging by the size of the stain spread across the white tablecloth. She wasn't the only one. There were other spillages around the room, as if people had suddenly lost their bearings when the lights went out. One of the waiters was crouched over a mess of dropped cake that had somehow slipped off a plate in the dark. A man at the back of the room was actually on the floor, being helped up by a couple of others from his table. It looked as though he'd been walking between tables when the lights went out and had managed to trip on a chair leg. A hubbub of voices rose as everyone started talking at once. Stellan moved to the back of the little stage, looking around as if he thought the necklace might have somehow been knocked from its perch and fallen off the back. The auctioneer, looking very pale, banged his hammer for silence. "Let's all stay calm," he said. Aunt Evie jumped to her feet. "Stay calm? When 32 grand has just disappeared?" She looked at Curtis. "What should we do?" He got to his feet, laying a reassuring hand on her arm. "We'll handle this." Across the room, Delia and the other police officers were on their feet too. They might have been wearing evening dress, but their faces showed that they were now on duty,